Hey guys, today I'm going to be ranking every single Zack Snyder movie from the worst to the best on a tier list. And before we get started, I'm just going to signify what each tier means. For me, S tier means fantastic, like almost flawless or a flawless movie. A means great, a really good movie with a lot of good things about it, just has some major flaws. B, it's pretty good, has a lot of fun stuff in it and stuff, but has so, it's like, it's a lot of good, but also has a lot of bad. Mediocre means just fine, like it's not awful or anything, but not something I would really rewatch again. And D is just trash. And just saying, a movie will at least go on every single tier. It's not like S tier will have no movies or D tier won't have any movies. Every tier will have a few movies in them. So well, let's get started. Starting with Zack Snyder's first movie, Dawn of the Dead. I say for a first movie with a director, it is surprisingly really good. And just saying, I am a pretty big Zack Snyder fan too, so yeah. But this thing, I'm a really big fan of like zombie movies, and this movie has such a simple premise. It has a good R rating, some good blood and gore, really good makeup designs and CGI designs with the zombies. For the most part, a lot of good characters, and I would put it at A tier. It has a lot of issues. I can stand by that. A lot of the characters are pretty bad. Some of them are just in the story for no apparent reason, and some of them are just boring. But most of the characters are really good. Sometimes you could notice the CGI effect for a zombie if it's not full on real. And you could also notice the makeup sometimes, and also sometimes the blood and gore, like the blood wouldn't come out even if it should have. Sometimes some coincidence just happens for the story to go on, and there's a few flaws in the story, but for the most part, this movie is great, and I give it an 8 out of 10. So going on to his second movie, 300, I think this is arguably Zack Snyder's greatest movie. It has it's taking inspiration from the graphic novel 300 and does a really good job of impersonating the movie at the same time as just being fun. The entire atmosphere is so the cinematography for the movie is fantastic. The action is so fast paced, almost no cuts. The characters aren't really that good, but for the most part, most of them are at least kind of fun to sit through. But the main thing is just the impersonation of the graphic novel is done so well that even if the characters aren't as good as you want them to be, it doesn't really matter because of how fun, bloody, because it's also an R-rated movie, so it has that bloody gore and violence, which is also really good. So I easily put this movie in fantastic S tier, and I do have some issues with it. Like there's a few moments where the slow mo matters, but Zack Snyder loves slow mo so much that he put like 7 unnecessary slow mo shots, like 8 or 7, I don't know, but so many slow mo shots that were unnecessary in the entire movie. Also, there's times where the blood and gore is just too bloody at times, and the action at times is also not the best. But overall, it's a really fun movie, and I'd give it a 9.5 out of 10. So now, if we're going on to Watchmen, this movie, I really like it way more than others. Like, I think this movie is way too underrated. Like, IMDb score is fine for me, but the Rotten Tomato point giving it a 60. I think that's way too low, but I really, really like this movie. It's able to find a premise with the graphic novel Watchmen, made by Alan Moore, by also being its own thing. It's able to show what if powers or abilities were given to people who don't deserve them. The origin stories for Dr. Manhattan was really well done. All the characters even the ones who died, had a worthy send off, and the Watchmen themselves, the pretty much bad superheroes in a way, think are using their powers for stuff that aren't good. And it's like that impersonation in the entire movie where they think they're right, but they're actually wrong. And when they're wrong, they're actually right at times. And it turns out the villains are actually the heroes. That type of complexion it's just such a fun way to make a movie. And it feels like it respects Alan Moore's um, graphic novel by also adding on to it and feeling like a movie. So overall, this year is an S tier for me and an easy 9 out of 10. And also, this movie, I did grow up with it a bit. So that's maybe why it's getting a high score. But still, I really like this movie. And for the like the Owl movie he created, a first kids movie type thing. I'm like, it's not bad, but it's not really good. It's just mediocre, I guess. It's not like anything too awful, but it's not anything enjoyable. I forgot about this movie the day after I watched it. The plot, the summary, the characters, the inconveniences in the plot at times. It just makes no sense. And it's just so easy to forget about this movie. This doesn't really even feel like a Zack Snyder movie, but it ends. So I'm not even going to talk about it that much. I'm just going to give it a 5 out of 10. It's not bad, but it's not really that good. So next up is Sucker Punch. This for me is probably a pretty damn bad movie. It's not able to find a balance between being a. It's not like it just doesn't feel like a Zack Snyder movie. After a first like his three first pretty great films, or at least pretty good films, Sucker Punch. And he took it down with the Owl movie, but this movie just took it all away. It's easily going into D tier. It doesn't feel like a Zack Snyder. It feels like it's all over the place with the prison, with the part feminist angle, with the unnecessary bad acting. The direction is god awful in this movie, and I'm just not going to talk about this movie that much and give it a solid 2 out of 10. I don't care what people say. It's just really bad. And then Man of Steel. Man of Steel, in my opinion, is pretty underrated. When I first watched it, I absolutely loved it. I gave it an A tier and stuff. But after a like on my first when I first ranked all the DCU movies, I put it at number 3. But after rewatching it, I put it at number 6. It's not like this movie's bad. It's actually really good. It's that I don't really feel as much for it as I did when I first watched it. So I give it a B plus. It's still really fun. It has Henry Cavill is a great actor. It has some emotion, because people who say that this is a emotionless movie and it has no emotion, it's just a dull person who doesn't care about his action and he just helps people because this is him. I think I should help, so I'm just gonna help. That's stupid. No, it has a way more human emotion. It's not a good Superman movie necessarily, but it's a different take on it. It's if a normal man, a normal innocent man, who's just like most of us, not like a perfect man like what people believe Superman is, but just a normal man comes to Earth. What would he do with those powers? That's the concept of this movie, and it does it really well. I do think we don't have enough. We have too much action and not enough of Superman saving people. But still, on the end, this movie wasn't that bad. It wasn't like the best, but it wasn't really that bad. So overall, I give it a 7 out of 10 and say it's a fun attempt, but I think it's a bit too dark and too much action and not too much of the hero saving people, and has a different amount of neglected, like a few problems in the bit mix. But overall, this movie was still a really good movie actually. Except I don't think it's fully great. That's all I can really say. For Batman v Superman, this movie is just a mess. It is such a mess. Lex Luthor's plot, that inclusion of Doomsday at the last second so they can kill off Superman, um the very short fight between Batman and Superman, which was still really good, and all the gadgets Batman had, but we didn't even get to see that Batman make those gadgets, and the stupid and unnecessary like ending, which was like, oh, Superman has this mom has the same name as Batman's mom, so yay. We forget Batman forgives Superman and will save his mom from Lex Luthor. The last second inclusion of Doomsday so that Superman can die for the Justice League movie. Wonder Woman's inclusion just for the Justice League movie. Good God. It's just so many weird and untransitive things that just don't work about this movie. It's a bad movie. I actually, after rewatching the Ultimate Edition, I'm like this. This movie, the Ultimate Edition for me would get a 7 out of 10. And, the normal version would get a 5, simply. The ultimate version I really liked a lot more. But overall, this movie was really messy. But there's still a lot of good things. A lot of cinematography was real. And also, before I talk about the good things, Lois Lane just sucked. He sucked in Man of Steel too. That's my biggest complaint with Man of Steel. Lois Lane. Amy Adams is a decent actress, but her Lois Lane, I don't think she's the Lois Lane. Like, she sucks. But in this movie, she's even worse. But if you take her away and actually only look at the fun stuff, this movie's kind of cute. It has, Batman has a good motivation for hating Superman, except Batman shouldn't kill. No, Batman shouldn't kill. And Superman, even after Man of Steel, has a lot of chances to save people like Superman, but he doesn't. Yeah, but still. The good thing is that the cinematography at times is amazing. The motivation for Batman to kill Superman was really well explained in the opening scene. Um, um, they like a few other things in there I like a few shots. Like the cinematography was fantastic for like Batman looking at his suit, Batman grieving over Robin, all that stuff was fantastic. But the movie isn't even that good. But with the Ultimate Edition, I still have to compound the normal one with the Ultimate. But if I were, I'd still put it at B tier and give it a 6.5 out of 10. So now going on to Zack Snyder's Justice League. Zack Snyder's pure vision for Justice League. This is honestly my favorite Zack Snyder movie, and without question, it goes into fantastic, and it's my favorite easily. It's able to fix over the mistakes of the original Justice League, even without Zack Snyder watching the original one. It's also able to find a way to bring every single member of the team together without feeling forced, and it's able to develop each and every character, even if they hadn't had their own standalone film. This even helps even more. This helps even more because Aquaman now has his own standalone film. Wonder Woman has her own standalone film. Superman already had one, and Batman had a simple standalone film. So in this movie, they really only have to develop Aquaman a bit more, just a little bit. The Flash a lot because he didn't have a standalone film, and Cyborg's arc was fantastic. He's able to be who Cyborg is. There's so many good things about this film. It's like the action is fantastic. That's not it looks fantastic. The ending, reversing time, is fantastic. And this movie gets a simple 10 out of 10 for me. I don't care what people say. So, going on to his latest film, Army of the Dead, I don't really think this film is as bad as people say. Lots of people, oh, this film sucks. And if you look on IMDb at 5.8, that's a lower score than Justice League, the original Justice League. No, no, no. It's not that bad. It should be like a 6 or a 7. I don't know. So this film was just fine. It's able to. The main thing is just like Scott Ward's daughter. Like Dave Bautista's Scott Ward was a fantastic character. Pretty much every character was fantastic except his daughter. His daughter is just a big no-go for the film. It's just the biggest problem is that she has no respect for her father. She doesn't even call him dad, or she calls him Scott. What is wrong with this shithole or something? Like literally, have the minimal respect. And I get Zack Snyder wanted her to go through a character arc with him dying and her finally calling her dad, but still, that character arc is just so weird. And honestly, I put it at B tier. I found the action to be really good. A half zombified tiger was a lot of fun. And the action was a lot of fun, but the introduction, the full-on scape of the entire thing, the entire story is a literal mess. So overall, this movie is a 6 out of 10 for me. It's not bad, but it's not really that good. So overall, but it is good, the film. Like, it's fun, and it has a lot of good things. Overall, that's my ranking for every single Zack Snyder movie. Tell me yours in the comments below, and see you all in the next video.